Okay, let's hope this one takes. You team family. Thank you for joining us again. Devil must not be wanting us to make this video because we've how many times tried?
This is our third time, I think.
Okay, you know something. Well, when the devil doesn't like it, you know what? We just have to go for it and do it
Absolutely.
anyway. And my shirt says, "Not today, Satan," and I mean that too. Not today. You're not today. Not any day. This is
Absolutely.
Marty, a very wonderful friend of mine, who has decided to come and give a testimony today.
Yep.
A testimony about heaven.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Marty, share with everybody on YouTube, in the whole world. Just don't be nervous. It's just the whole world looking.
Oh, no. Oh, goodness, shouldn't have told me that. Yeah.
You know I mess with everybody, so it's all right. Go right ahead.
Well, let's see. About 40 years ago, I was having a crisis of faith. I was around 18 or 19 years old, and I had been brought to Jesus, brought to the Lord when I was about 5 or 6 years old, and my grandmother led me to Jesus. And I thank God today for my grandmother, because otherwise I may not have been led to Jesus.
Yay, Grandma.
But a few years later, 13, 14 years later, here I am, 18, 19 years old. And I was praying, I think maybe that morning or the day before, and I found certain things you pray about, God will answer very quickly. Like if you pray for truth, He will give you the truth you're looking for and then some.
Yes.
So I was praying, Lord, if you're real, show yourself to me.
Ooh.
And find some way to prove to me that you're real. And
you got to be careful with those kind of prayers. I'm just saying, people.
Yes, you do.
You really do, because God will show up.
Every time I hear somebody say it, this is what I prayed to God, show me that you're real. They always have an interesting story.
Go ahead. Yes.
So
I just thought of one too.
Yeah. So I was young and I was in good shape, and I loved to be outside. I loved to have a nice tan. And I was out mowing the grass without a shirt on.
Mm-hmm.
And I was perspiring and sweat was rolling down my side. And I decided to take my arm, and, I didn't like the feeling of the perspiration rolling down. So I took my arm, rubbed it on my side.
Yeah.
And I felt a really sharp pain in my left side. And a cicada killer wasp had stung me. And those things are about 2 to 2.5 inches long.
Wow, so it was something like that big?
Yes, they're huge wasps.
Oh.
And they look like giant yellow jackets is what they look like.
Yeah.
And if one is dead, you can actually see the stinger. The stinger is about 1/4 inch long. I mean, it's a big thing. And I look at it and I'm going, I wouldn't want to be stung by that thing. And I'm going, wait a minute. I have been stung by one of those things.
Yeah.
And they normally do not sting people. If you look in a dictionary, you'll see my face. I'm the only person been stung by.
I was just going to say. How did this happen to you, Marty?
Yeah, I'm the only person I know that's ever been stung by one.
Grief.
But the venom, it didn't sting my arm, but the venom got on my arm and swelled up my arm from my watch to my...
Without a sting.
Yeah, without a sting. But it did sting me in the side. And I had about a basketball diameter welt on my side that stuck up about that much.
Whoa.
And I went inside and got my mom. And she took me to the what was the equivalent of today's urgent care.
Yes.
And basically they said they couldn't treat me. They had nothing there to treat me. I should go to the hospital. So, but the bee sting was taking effect on me. And I was getting really tired and I was getting really irritable. And I told my mom, I said, let's just go home. I'm tired of dealing with this. I was impatient. So we went home. I put an ice pack on my side and melted the ice very quickly. Just a few minutes, the ice was gone. Had to refill it. And I went to my room. I told my mom I was feeling tired. I was going to lay down. And went to my room and I fell asleep. And sometime during that sleep, I had a vision. And I believe what happened was, I don't know if I died at that time, but it may have been near death. And I was out of my body. And I was standing at the gate of heaven.
Oh.
And I looked at this gate, and it was very bright white. And it went as far to my left side as I could see, and as far to my right side
Wow.
as I could see. And when I looked up, it went up as far as I could see. And I'm just so amazed at this thing. And
Just the gate?
just the gate.
There no wall to it? Just all gate?
Well, no, actually, it was a wall.
Okay.
The whole thing, yeah, the wall extended as far to my right and
I
as far to my
gotcha.
left, and
Okay.
but the gate may have extended all the way up.
Yeah.
I couldn't really see that high to see because the only way I knew a gate was there was just a very thin line that was in front of me.
Wow.
And I could barely see that. With all the brightness of this gate and the wall, it was very hard to tell anything was there. But I saw this crack, and I know I'm at a gate.
Yeah.
So I'm standing at this gate, and I'm feeling all this love just coursing through me. So I want to be on the other side of this gate.
Yeah.
I want to be on the inside. And I start pounding on this thing, and I'm beating on this thing, and I was pretty strong, and it felt like I was beating my fist against a mountain. So I knew nobody could hear me, so I started yelling. So I said, Jesus, Jesus, let me in. And I kept shouting this until he finally answered, and he goes, it's not yet your time. And it just shocked me. But all of a sudden, I felt a hand on my back pushing me. And I'm going, no, I'm struggling. No, don't. I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
Yeah.
And next thing I know, I'm coming through my ceiling, and I see my body on my bed
Wow.
with the ice pack underneath my arm. And split second later, I'm bawling, crying on my bed because I did not want to come back.
Right.
Which is kind of weird because I love my family, and my mom was very ill at the time, and I was constantly taking her back and forth to the doctor. Every day, I was taking her back and forth to the doctor.
Then they're done that.
Yeah, sometimes she could walk, and sometimes she couldn't. Sometimes I was carrying her into the doctor's office.
Yeah.
And but I didn't. When I was standing at that gate, that never really occurred to me about what I was asking about. Please don't send me back. It just wasn't this whole planet was
Because
not.
it was just that much love.
There was that much love that
You didn't want to leave.
I did not want to leave. I did not want to leave. It was just. I don't even know how to explain it. I try to explain the gate and the wall and how bright it was, and it was so bright that I feel like with human eyes, it probably would have been blindingly bright.
Yeah.
I would not have known there was a little slit in that gate. If I'd been trying to look at it with human eyes, I probably would have been shading my eyes from this.
Yeah.
But the love was even stronger than that. And I just knew if I got on that other side, I would not have wanted to come back. But Jesus did send me back, and I woke up, and after I finished crying, I went out to the kitchen where my mom was at the kitchen table. And I don't know why I didn't think to look at the clock. I just asked her what time it was, and she goes, "It's 2:00." And I was thinking, wow, so I've been in bed just very little while. And she said, well, it's 2:00 on Wednesday. And this happened to me on Sunday.
Yes.
So I was in bed for 4 days.
Wow.
And she kept an eye on me.
Yeah.
She had been a nurse in the Navy. And so she kept coming in, checking my pulse and checking my heart rate. And she saw, you mentioned anaphylactic.
Anaphylactic shock.
Yeah.
We're going to get it unloaded.
So during that time,
Okay. Sorry.
So during one of our takes, she mentioned anaphylactic shock.
Yes.
And I guess my mom knew what to look for.
But I'm thinking, we got to talking between our takes.
Yes.
that your mom, being a nurse and everything, might have kept an eye on you, but she got to sleep sometime.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's
she
true.
might not have been aware of your breathing changing or anything happening with
Right.
you.
Right.
And it might have been it was a quick visit because you saw the gate and you felt the love and then starting on your time and you had to come back.
Yeah,
But
it could have been very quick.
it could have been a very quick thing.
Very quick. Because it sure didn't take long for me to get from that gate back down to my body. I mean,
Came back fast.
it was almost like a split second. I mean, it was so quick.
Yeah.
And I mean, I came through the ceiling, saw my body, next thing I know, I'm in it.
In it.
So, yeah, so it could have
And
been very
feeling
quick.
it again.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then I was washed out. I had no energy or anything.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why I didn't look at the clock. And I just lazily asked her, what time is it? But, yeah. And I told her the story.
And what did she say?
And she's like, wow. She goes, she was just in amazement at the story I told her. She goes, well, do you believe there's a God now?
So she was a believer. I know your grandmother was.
Yeah, she was a believer.
Okay. Good deal.
Yeah. But I kind of lived like she did. My mom was a believer, but she wasn't really living like that. And I think I was kind of following that lifestyle. And but even after that, I still didn't follow.
You know something? Let's look at this then. If that's the case, Marty, and you were 19 years old, and as a 19-year-old this happened to you, it was one of our takes when you talked to you were 19. I don't know if you just said it this time.
Right.
But she was 19 years old, and a 19-year-old person, is not necessarily thinking about Jesus or the God. You're becoming a young man. The world's out there, the cars, the women, and everything. And Marty was saying, I was a normal guy. I was out doing my thing, and not necessarily following the Lord closely.
And
right?
well, and I did say that, and also, and this is not contradictory. I was living my own life the way I wanted to live. But there were certain things that God protected me from.
Okay.
And he did not let me have a desire for drinking or drugs.
Hallelujah.
I still, of course, had a drive that I liked, women. And, but, the smoking, drinking, and drugs, I had absolutely no desire.
Yes.
And it's surprising how your friends can pressure you. I guess they think they're doing a good thing. Come on, try a cigarette.
Be part of the crowd.
Yeah, be part of the crowd. You're not going to be popular if you don't do this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I was never a crowd follower.
That's good.
And it cost me some.
Cost you some people friends, but it kept you someplace sane, because that can take you into such bad places.
Exactly. And just because they're friends telling you to do these things, it doesn't mean these things are good for you. They just want you to be part of their clique.
Yeah.
And I just didn't need that.
Well, what I'm catching from hearing this now 3 times is that that being a 19-year-old and for the Lord, think about the Lord. What he said, it's not yet your time. Thank you, God, that it was not yet his time. That's okay. We're going to disregard that on my phone. Because thank God it was like that, Marty, because you might not have been ready completely. You might have had salvation, right? But you weren't necessarily walking the walk.
Right.
At that moment, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
It's not yet your time. He sent you back, and you've grown.
Yes. As
a Christian, big time.
Yes.
Even just the short period of time that we've known each other.
Yes.
You're a totally different guy.
About 4 years ago, would you have seen me here in front of the camera?
No.
There's no way.
That God has grown him so big. And I don't mean size, I know I'm big, but I said not size-wise, but spiritually so big in those 4 years.
Yes.
He's really both of us. I'm right in there with him. God's growing us all the time. And, there's a theory about the once saved, always saved. Well, I believe that Marty received the Lord when he was a child with his grandmother, 5 or 6. I did it when I was 8. But you know what? I wasn't walking the walk either as a teenager. When I was 20, I did receive the Lord, and in my heart, a whole different walk began. Because I wasn't there. Yeah. I knew that there was a heaven and a hell, and I didn't want to go to hell, basically.
Yeah.
So I said, I want to,
almost fire insurance.
Sign me up. Sign me up. I don't want to go to hell.
Right.
But yet I wasn't loving Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So I just say all that to say, this is a daily, everyday walk with the Lord. And I don't want to take up your time, but I just want to say that, we have to walk continually in our faith.
I was going to say that. It's a continuous walk, and I find myself thinking sinful thoughts sometimes, and I have to say, Lord, please forgive me.
We all do.
And it's a continuous continuous thing.
Yes. By your choice. I love the Pure Word Bible because it literally says it. It says that you walk this walk by your choice every day. That you choose every day to be a Christian.
Yes.
To walk the walk of Jesus Christ. Yeah. And I think that's really accurate. Because when you don't walk the walk every day, it's so easy by idle words we say or things that happen to just get carnal. Just like right away. We're so used to being carnal, You
take a hard left off the path.
You take a hard left off the path. Yeah. That's why it's not good to just believe and trust in men.
Yeah.
Because men can be failing us. Men can fail me, can fail you. And we to put all our trust in a preacher or a pastor. And no, we can't afford to do that because we're all human beings and we can fail.
Yes.
But I just am so thankful that God at 19 said, it's not yet your time.
Yes.
And you can come back and gird yourself up and become a Christian like you weren't at 19.
Right.
Right. And to grow up a bit in the Lord and do great things, like make a video.
There you go.
To tell people about heaven.
Yeah. How much time do we have left here?
Oh, let me check.